All right, this should be live now. Let me just double check everything's online. F5. All right, I see a live hookup. Now, what I'm working on today is the freight. So it's like a semi truck that's driving through in anti-gravity world, so it can transform to different walls as it's driving, um, and there's some problems with that. So the basic problem is that when you're considering a semi, it usually has a gap between. Let's there. It usually has a gap between the tractor and the trailer, and that's to allow that hinge joint so that the back end of it can move around as the front half takes turns. Otherwise, the turns would be far worse. Um, and sometimes when they get really long, you end up you use two smaller trailers that are hooked side by side. And so in this case, we're going to be taking 90-degree turns as a regular thing. So I have to have at least a 90-degree amount of space. Now, that's not just from the side view where it needs to be able to turn this way. It also needs to be able to turn up and down. So as it comes up to a wall, the front of the car is going to turn up. It's not going to be that the entire semi starts turning and making its way up the wall. It's each individual section starts to do that. All right, so that's my objective today, to make that part of it work. Okay, so I'm also using this model. This is from UnityFan. It's all public domain CC0. They release their stuff. They show videos on how they make it. That's awesome. I recommend using their stuff if you have anything of use. It's not just this, it's all sorts of different stuff. Now, I'm just looking at their sci-fi vehicles, but they actually have a lot more than just sci-fi vehicles. Uh, just dive into all of them for a second because there's some great stuff in here. Buildings, whatever that thing is, a brake caliper. He's done some very realistic cars as well. You can see different parts of cars. And there was a really high quality one that I used from here before for the sci-fi stuff that I just ended up removing. This one. Oh, I love this one. This one was great. But yeah, they show their creation of all this stuff on YouTube, and I recommend it. Anyway, so I use their stuff a lot in here. No attribution required, but yeah, we do. Now, let's see. Systems. So we've got the map. Last time I also increased the map size that's in here. I can build that up and add more. The baking process is instantaneous, though there are some efforts that went into making it a faster operation. Just because that's going to grow to consume the entire world, or it's supposed to. All right, so what's next? Inside of here, we're doing the freight truck, so I need to take an individual freight. So right now I have that split up inside of here. However, the distance is pretty far at this moment. I do need to bring it in closer. So let's bring in the car. So this is the idea of the car. The car will be back to maybe about here. And then we also need the caboose. I'm just calling it the caboose because I grew up with the caboose being the word for the last car of a train. And in this case, it's kind of like a train. It also occurred to me that because this one appears to have extra engines on it, you know what? The lighting in here is terrible. Well, I want the background lighting to not be that great. I want it to be a little bit grayed out and dull. And then I want effects to kind of build up on top of that and the car's lighting to make them stand out more as I need. But I'm not worried about that yet. All right, let's see. Can I just change there? I mean, like right now, here's the base colors without any effects. All right. So yeah, anyway, these things look like additional engines where these ones don't. So it seems like this one's dependent a little bit on the gravity of the other two, and that kind of implies a little bit about how it can operate. Oh, bugs flying in here. think that was a mosquito, but I'm not sure yet. Probably see me swinging around a roll of paper towels in a minute. All right, so now let's dive in. Caboose. Each one of these has to have a car, which let's see, the tractor does not have a car right now. So let's add a car. Oh, I'm going to do this by taking the effects of the existing car. It needs a rigid body, copy component, and now over into tractor. I'm going to paste as new. Next, on the car, we have box collider. Yes, copy. And over on tractor, we're going to paste as new. And then finally, what is it? Not car driver. Wait, did I grabbed the box collider. I didn't grab the car itself. Okay, grab the car script. Copy component, and let's go over to tractor. It needs the car script in here too. Paste. So the car script, as a reminder, is just a hover. It's like a hoverboard. It just keeps it stable within the world. It pays attention to the fact that I'm close to a wall and starts tipping it up and pushing it away from the wall. But if I've got enough force pushing me back towards it, that tipping process also corrects me onto the wall. So, and then once I'm over it enough, it centers my gravity to that surface. Oh yeah, I need to paste it, paste component. Okay, so now I have the object. Does this have a reference to rigid body? It does, but that's probably the wrong one. Yeah, let's go fix that. Let's go put this rigid body in. Did it? Oh, yeah, that should have caught it. No, it's not letting me change it. Why? See, and this one should be tractor. All right, so we have the rigid body. Tractor rigid body. What have we got? Okay. Yeah, is that one in place now? Okay, good. We're setting the right one. Surface mask, everything for the time being. That's fine. Now, the object size here obviously doesn't match. Let's reset the collider. Okay, so the collider, edit. Let's bring it to flat, and we'll go to the side view first. Bring that one down, that side up, that one over here. This is kind of a tall one. All right. Given the fact that it's tall, I think I'll put its stability, well, whatever. Let's realign this on the front side first before I move on. Use the wider aspect of it. Nope, come back. Edit. Does that even belong to this car? Yeah, it does. That comes out to the width over here. I was worried I was getting one of the other cars behind it, but I am not. They appear to be lined up pretty well. Now, freight car just behind is a little bit higher on the bottom. It's not quite as tall until we get to the cargo. All right, so back to 3D space. Now, I think keeping the stability of the car height to where it is. So with this one, we need the engine offsets. If I put them at the bottom, it feels like it's going to be a little top heavy. And I want the truck to feel more stable. So I'm going to put its physics operations just above center. Okay. Now that does mean it will be able to drop a little bit more and may scrape the bottom. We'll see. I might need to change the performance of it or change the settings of it. Okay, so now it's got a car. I want it to be driving around. It needs the driver on it. So where is a car? Oh, that one is a prefab. The traffic car is effectively what this one needs to be acting like. It's going to be a traffic car, so let's add the script. Right-click, copy. Oh, yeah, the traffic system. I'm going to put in a different traffic system for the trucks. Right now it can be identical, but I'll probably have some differences to how it runs. I might have different tracks that they run on as well, to keep them more isolated and out of some of the smaller areas that a smaller car could fit into. Okay, so yeah, we'll build a second one. So inside of this one, this is traffic. I'm going to create a second one called CV called truck traffic. Okay, inside of this, it's got the traffic car, which is not actually what I want. I'm going to produce a new prefab, but the car, traffic car, has an additional script called traffic car. I'm going to copy that one out of here, copy component, and let's go to tractor. The tractor in this one needs to have this pasted into it. Paste component is new. Okay, now the information that it wants, the car is not the prefab anymore. It needs to be this object. So tractor. And the bake traffic is going to remain the same. That's the traffic details. Control Shift B. That's the driving area, the nav mesh that it gets to use. Control Shift B is something I produced in a previous video on here that talks about how to, where I created the design tools for generating this nav mesh. But the nav mesh is basically just for traffic flow. All right, so do we have everything we need for tractor? Is tractor stored in here? Tractor's stored in here. Okay, so this is already its own setup. So in this one, I'm going to overrides, apply all. Technically, I think that has everything it needs. Oh, front traffic handler. It's referring to an item on the prefab. No, this needs its own traffic prefab, our own front traffic handler. So let's go into here and I'll just add it directly to this. We're going to go, let's zoom in on the object, create empty, and we're going to move it to the front. Now let's move over to here and set it square, drop that down to about here. Yeah, well, whatever. I'll correct it if I need to. Okay, so we've got that position. Let's move to the side, make sure it's just in front. Yes, good. Okay, back to 3D. And return to world editing. Okay, so we've got the tractor. It's in there. It's acting like this stuff. Now we have the truck traffic, which we're going to put truck traffic in here. It can't have a locked number of cars. So I got to put the car, I'm going to modify the traffic system. I'm going to modify the traffic system so I can list the number of cars it instantiates. And that way the traffic can have like 20 of them to begin with, while the truck system only has 1 or 2. All right, so traffic system. There we go, traffic system. Let's put this in here. Public float, int. Public int. And what would this be? This would be pool count. The way I'm planning on doing the whole thing for traffic is that if you ever move to a region where, or if something is out of the region that you're in, it will generate new objects within that region. The only difference on that should be if you are not currently on a surface. So if all of your powers are set to 0, so the only way power can be 0 is if the car isn't close enough to a surface to generate power to push against that surface. Then it only gets external forces like the thrusters or push and steering. Okay, so inside of here, pool count and equals, we'll put 100. 100 to begin with, because this is assuming for the car system. There, now we create the car, however many lines that is, 15 to 32. And instead, we're going to say for int I equals 0, I is less than, what did I call it? I called it pool count. And then here is create car. Bingo. So right now it just grabs a random point within all of the traffic points. But later on, this has to be improved because those traffic points are going to include the entire world. Actually, I suppose I could change that, but it would be a little weird if you got near the edges and nothing could be generated around those once you got close to the corners, and you would never see another car travel a corner. I remember seeing that in some other games. I don't remember what they were, but it always threw me off where the only cars you would see use the highway were ones that were already on the highway, and so you would see lots of traffic there, but and never see a car get on or off the highway unless they were going to cross over and get back on it. I've seen that in a couple games. It wasn't Midnight Club 2. I remember that one making the transition, but I remember some other one where it was you would never see cars pull over. Okay, so over here we have the random that creates a car. It sets it up where it needs to be. We've got a length in there. It generates it to create the car. Why is it? Oh, I'm missing I plus plus there. There. Now back into here, that's going to recompile and it should come up with a number. I kind of I kind of miss back before the Unity package management switched over to uh, what was the setup? Sort of like I can't remember the term for it, but the same one that like Microsoft uses for all the packages, uh, where they switched over to the same system for that because projects take forever to load now. I mean, I get that there's a lot that they have going into them, but it used to be so much faster. And same thing when it has to make code changes. There's so much more time it takes to just add an empty class. And I I fear that that's just going to keep getting worse and worse over time. Like Unity seems to be focusing lately on adding lots and lots of features and capabilities and tying things over to ECS, but not so much towards improving the speed of actually using the editor. I mean, I'm sure they're doing a lot, but they're increasing the slowness more than they're increasing the fastness. All right, so where are we? We got the traffic, which is set to 100. Truck traffic we'll set to 2. All right, and the traffic it's going to use, we're going to put a traffic car in here. All right, cool. Not a traffic car, a tractor. There we go. Okay, so back to the tractor. Right now, this should just operate as one of the cars in traffic, but we've got 2 systems that are implementing it at this time. Oops. There, saved everything, and let's make sure that happens. Oh, I should also move this stuff over. There's no reason for it to all be right here, so let's get it out of the way of the core traffic that's going on in here. There, I can look at it and work with it on this side. And then when I get into the game, I'm in that car over there. Ooh, I can move the car as well to begin with. So let's move the car over to this side. I can interact with the traffic, but more likely I just want to see it to begin with. So let's go with, oh yeah, I want to rotate now. Now I can generally see the space it's inside of. And for the time being, let's also take the camera and give it a wider view. Currently have it set to 60. Let's go to 90 for now. Okay, now play. Theoretically, I should have two trucks moving around, or at least two of the tractors inside of it. Those will be bigger than the normal trucks. There's one up there. It's smashing into the cars. There's one over here too. Let's go to game, or to this view. Oh, both tractors are up here now. Wait a minute. They don't have debug lines. Why don't those have debug lines? They have the... Isn't that set? What are they doing? Ooh. Okay, yeah. That area is already too thin for them to travel in. It can't make its way down and it's stuck. I don't need all that detail up there. So the tractor clone. Okay, it figured out using the building and now it's going to try to use something else. It should turn around in a second because there's no point over here it's heading towards. What are you doing? Why are you still going this way? What? There's nothing up there. What? My other truck is over there too. What are you guys doing? Okay, I guess they don't really need a plan, but this is also not correcting itself to drive well. Wait, is it actually scraping on the ground? No, it's not. Okay, it corrected. Now get some more speed. Corrects a little bit, but once it makes the rise, it keeps pushing through that and it never flattens itself back down to the ground. So it travels at one of the slowest speeds it can, which maybe that works to my advantage. That gives a point where the traffic can, whereas the driver, I have more of an opportunity to catch up with these ones than I do the regular cars. Okay, so I could leave it. You're going to head into the water. Well, your physics will allow you to ride on the water. Everyone knows the hoverboards can't ride down water. I haven't seen that movie in forever, but now it kind of makes me wonder. When he was on a normal skateboard, he never would have tried to hop over into water. So I kind of want to look back at that frame. Like, was there no other option in that scene than heading towards the water? All right. Well, I don't have a reason to just watch this. My purpose at this point is I will very likely put a separate set of tracks on for those cars. In fact, why don't I just do that now? Go through the building. Where am I? Wrong button. Where did I come from? Where did I go? This looks like it. Good. We do need a separate traffic system inside of here. So for now, ooh, I don't have a way to transfer between the design tools. I should have all the data for the traffic designer stored into a separate asset as well, one that's not going to make it into the runtime. But I don't use it right now. Also, I suppose that would be good to break up into regions because I'll have a few thousand of these points and two of these separate connections. So if I break them into regions, that makes it easier too. All right, so the next point I need to worry about is connecting the cars. I'll worry about how the semis deal with specialty stuff a little bit later, but as their distance gets farther from the player, they're just going to disappear anyway and then be replaced by something closer. All right, so what do we do with this one? The tractor should have a trailer point, something that the other ones follow. Now, do I make it the point that those cars try to get to that? I'm just going to have them do a lerp. It's going to try lerping up to that same point. So to do that, that does need to be back a little bit from the car. So let's try this. Back. Yeah, I'm going to do the exact same effect that I did for the traffic car. So on the traffic car, and I've already got the traffic car script on here, but I think it needs a new modification. Originally, the traffic car script for the cars that were driving all around here, they're supposed to pick the next point and then head towards that point. And in this case, it's going to do something very similar, but it's once it reaches the end, it's supposed to pick a new point, and that new point comes from the baked traffic system. All right, so it does need to be modified, but very similar. So I'm going to call it something similar. I'll call it truck car. Okay, truck car. I'll go with that. Control KC. No. Control D. F2. Nope. Just get in there. Stop it. Thank you. All right. So where was that? Traffic car 1. We're going to change that. Oh, please be okay with the truck car. Did you? Rider does the same thing. Visual Studio does the same thing. You duplicate a class file, and then it's like, hey, the class was originally traffic car. Do you want to rename all the instances of traffic car over to truck car? Wait a minute. Traffic car is still traffic car. What's it complaining about? It didn't change the names. Okay, never mind. I appreciate that. This should now be truck car. All right, so that fixes that one. No, I do not want to apply rename factoring. This is a different class, and the other ones still are the things that they were working with before. All right, so truck car. Public car. Get away from here. Put that back. Now, it has baked traffic as a reference. In this case, I want to anchor to the back of another car. Now, I could just deal with this as an offset instead of needing to give it a transform. It might be a little faster than having a separate object. Okay, let's do that. Public float. No. Public parent car. No. Let's call it car. And then public float distance back equals 8f, 8 meters back. We'll just take that as an estimate of how far they're supposed to be back from the car in front of it. But the focal point, no, I should identify it because the tractor is short and the caboose is very long. So this should not be managed here. I do need to know which item it's connected to. They're supposed to be removed together anyway. So that connection should be able to make its way back. Okay, so in this one, instead of we're not going to be managing indexes, but we do need to manage a point plus have a reference to a child car. So this is our car that we're connected to. That's this reference. The second one that's in here, and let's get rid of the indexes. We don't need those now. We also don't need radius. We do need whatever. We'll get to that in a second. Okay, but we do need parent car. No, child car. Child car. No, it does need to go the opposite direction. Hey, this is a trial. Can I just end the trial? Hobby development and content creation, sure. Okay, this is something I can take care of later. Okay, so public car, child car. No. I need it to go the opposite direction. The car does need to know about child elements. So I feel like this one, there should be perhaps another script that establishes the child elements. So I will add another script that basically acts as the connector, the bridge from the tractor to the first car. Okay, so we've got the car, which references a child car. We don't need that anymore. We do need a target to head towards. So we've got target, and we've got the targets up. So, because we want to try to match that. How we get there is going to be different. I'm just going to be lerping and then I'll be lerping the position, I'll be lerping rotation, and I'll be letting the uh, skateboard take care of the rest, the car. If I called that skateboard, how messed up would that make my system right now? Next passage, I'll probably call it the skateboard. If you're not aware, the term skateboard also applies to vehicles, like electric vehicles, where they have the base of the car, they have the batteries, or at least the consideration the batteries were there, but they have the base of the car, they have the motors for the wheels, and then they've got the wheels themselves. And that's the skateboard. And then you've got the rest of the car that sits on top. Which is usually the travel space, the human space. All right, so if I want a bridge, something to follow this, this does need to have a target. I need to have the up, and then I also need a lerp speed, which I'll keep at 1 for now. Okay, now in this one, the update, we're going to get the position. We just want to lerp to its target position. Now the skateboard's going to be fighting with that, especially like if a vehicle starts to go up into a wall and it's still got that part where it's heading, where it's not going very fast, and the bottom of it's going to put the car behind it into basically into a building corner, and it'll be fighting with that to keep it up. So the physics system will push it back, and the lerping system will be pushing it inward. But we're just doing this in update, and we're letting the physics system have fixed update for now. So in this one, I am using car pressure to drive it, but I'm going to change that because we're getting rid of that. We do need the distance. We don't need to pick the next target. So inside of here, yeah, we're going to lerp the rotation. So it needs the target rotation. Where is it getting the target rotation? Traffic node point. It doesn't have that anymore. So we need a target rotation. Okay, target rotation, target position, and lerp speed. This is going to become much simpler. All right, the speed, 1F, sure. This dot target, it's just trying to become embedded within the other car. However, once its radius gets within a certain range, I still need the radius in here, which should be a different descriptor. It should be a border radius. So the idea is that I don't want the car getting any closer than this. to the next point. That's where I'm putting in some of my safety check on it for distance so that the cars don't start to overlap. But also their own physics system is going to push them apart because the cars have distances in front and back. I can reduce those, especially for the cars. That would make sense. All right. Target position. This dot target. Where's our target? Oh, target position. Got it. Target position. So we're getting the distance, and now we're going to say if distance is less than, is greater than, what am I looking for? Target rotation? No. Border radius. Technically, I don't need the car reference in here, do I? Okay, I can get rid of it. I'll leave that and clear those out at the end. Okay, so if it is greater than that, then we're going to lerp the effect of how close we are. So in this case, we're going to do vector 3. If we want to lerp, we need to know our two targets. So we have our current target, our current position from transform, and our target position. So in this case, transform.position equals vector3.lerp. Oops. So lerp is like a cheap physics follow. It doesn't work as well as having something that's checking the distances and then applying an amount of force or impulse over time so that the physics object wants to keep moving forward. Or establishing a momentum that it tries to maintain. But it still works pretty well. Like it gives you the initial concept, and I can decide if that's good enough. If I need to, I can improve this and go to a more complex system where it's trying to manage more of those features. The skateboard part manages that, and I will alter it how I want. Okay. But for right now, for a basic controller, this will do. Lerp from transform.position. And this is getting longer, so let's put on multiple lines. Comma, transform, not transform. Traffic node from point. No, we don't do anything with that. Target position. This dot target position, comma, and now lerp speed times time dot delta time. Okay, so basically, as long as we are far enough away from the object, then we're going to be lerping ourselves toward it and letting the physics car, the skateboard, deal with leveling itself out over the ground. Now, what is this one? We don't have that anymore. It's not that one. It is target position. All right, so next we need the angle. We'll just continuously try to lerp to the correct angle. If distance, there is no distance check for this one. Transform.rotation equals quaternion dot lerp, and the settings are going to be transform.rotation, comma, and then yeah. And the next one is this dot target rotation, and this dot We want the speed in here, which is this stuff. Am I missing something from here? Okay, so target rotation should be a quaternion. It's a vector 3. Okay, that fixes that one. We don't need to pick a next car. And its draw line, we're going to keep this in here, but it's going to be from our position. Transform position to... Oh, that's right. The car, this one, the truck car had a pivot point connected to it. That's what I want the distance to be based on. Yeah, whatever. I'll skip that and we can deal with it at a later time. Okay, so transform rotation. Do I have everything I need there? Yes. Oh, and this one, this is what I need. Target dot position, not dot. Target position. Okay, so now it should have a point that it's trying to get to. Wonder why that still didn't work on the truck. I never set the anchor. That must have been getting exceptions along the way. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of exceptions in there. That's why it wasn't working. That's because the truck had it set to null for its front anchor position. So if I go to the tractor, it's expecting a front traffic handler, but that's part of the prefab that's it's connected to. In this one, we don't have a front node traffic point for the car. Or we do, but it's the wrong object. Oh, maybe that also has to do why it had so much drift. Okay. Why it was just going all over the place. I think it was just going forward. That was it. It was just trying to go forward. It used physics while it was correcting itself, and then it would pull off of the surface when it would come across like a 90-degree turn. It would do that and correct itself, but it wasn't quite enough because of the speed it was going. So it couldn't level itself out completely, and then so it kept trying to push it just enough away, but the gravity kept bringing it down. But it was as slow as it could possibly go, which that would feel better for a truck. The truck doesn't go as fast. Okay, so now we need an object right in front. Do we have it? Let's go to here. And now let's go, what is this one called? That's our front anchor. That's it. And yeah, that's a good setup. That's a good place. Now let's exit this one. And that should fix the lines. And what is that, mosquito? I have bugs all over my screen. Well, not really. I get bugs on my screen on occasion, and I have this urge to fix them. Dumb pun intended. What's going on over here? Message coming up. Okay. So now, traffic car. Back to this one. We got the traffic car. Does it have the hookup? It's got the space. Tractor. We do need to make sure it's hooked up to the right spot, which is... Expand that out. Front anchor. Yes, right here. Okay, now. Overrides. Apply all. Oh, I hit revert all. No, wrong one. Front anchor to there. and override apply all. Okay, that's got a front anchor. It'll give me a drive line, which also means it's going to be able to start using those lines that it's starting to head towards. That also means that this one's going to try moving too. So let's start fixing this as well. I guess another thing is that if a truck doesn't have any follow-up items, it should just start adding them. And it should have a function that it passes on to the next one. And when it does, it should instantiate just a random chance that it'll end, like a 50% chance that it'll end. So you have trucks or 25% chance. So you might end up with a truck that is 40 cars long, but very unlikely. Most of them will be around like 1 to 3 cars long. Okay, so that's that one. Next. Let's see if I can just get this trailer to start following it. Well, actually, since I fixed that first part, let's just see if this actually connects now. Play. Helps to keep the console accessible. Otherwise, because I didn't even notice I had errors in there. Okay. Now, there's a car on that side. It's moving with the traffic. Oh, look at that. It just flew way over it. What? Okay, go over to the scene view. What are you doing over here? Okay, you need to get to this point. How are you going to get there down there? What? What are you doing? Okay, you're heading over there. You made it. Yay. And now you're heading to another location. What did you just bonk into that wall for? The turning radius of an ocean liner. That's why. What? Oh, yeah, you're still kind of heading towards it. You're just taking a roundabout way to go around this building first. I'm curious as to how you do this. Whee! Okay, that was unexpected. Wait, did you just hook onto that wall over there? And now you're trying to drive towards it. Okay. There. Now you're able to move on to its own one. This is going to be crazy watching how these cars end up, or when it's a chain of cars. All right, but one thing is clear, looking at the way these cars are moving around the corner points, they have a lot of trouble with corners. There's also a physics option that's not happening inside of this right now, where when the cars get to a corner, they're supposed to hug down and drop its increase its gravity or the downward pressure so that it can change sides of the surface faster, and so it can also speed up around corners or get more speed. However, it's not doing this right now. Okay, given the fact that that one just flipped over, like it hit the wall, turned itself upside down, ran sideways for a second, and then corrected itself really quickly, that also suggests that we're going to have a whole chain of cars wanting to flip themselves over. Yeah, lots to improve. I should also get rid of the debug lines that are there, because I can see they're trying to get to the points, but they're not. And I need to make that more of a selected choice to listen. So a selected choice is easy to fix. Where do we have? Undraw gizmos selected and undraw gizmos selected. There. Okay, so next. Pick next target, and this one that doesn't have a target. The truck car. It needs a point to connect to, so something in the parent needs to know about this, and I'm going to cut out for right now and come back to this later tonight, a couple hours from now, I guess. All right. Save it. And I'm going to go get some dinner. Where are my controls? All right. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.